All right, so what are three things that I learned from meditating every day for a year? And I've sort of said it in a previous video, but I'm definitely far from a like woo-woo kind of spiritual guy. I'm very like logical, like hard science kind of person, and but I was really seeing that there's just this common pattern in a lot of like high performers and like successful business people and just people I was like listening to, that a lot of them were using some sort of meditation technique, and they were saying they were getting really good results from it. So sort of started looking into it a bit more, and there's, if you have a look yourself, there's hard science behind it in how it can be beneficial in your life. And so I decided to give it a go. I like running experiments in my life, so I basically set the challenge of doing it every day for a year. And there's sort of three main things I learned from that experience. And number one is I can see my feelings a lot more objectively now. So to give you an idea, if say I start to feel anger towards someone, so someone's making me angry, I no longer have the feeling of I'm angry. I'm experiencing the feeling of anger, and it kind of sounds like semantics, but the main difference really is that the first is like you can't control it. The anger is part of who you are and what you're doing. But the second, where you're feeling anger, it's a feeling, and you can see it objectively and not get caught up in it. So I'm a lot more calm, and I just don't get flustered like I used to. So I don't get caught up in like anger or negative emotions and stuff like that. I can sort of just let it go very easily now. So that's number one. Number two is I'm a lot more present. So it's, to give you an example, I guess, you may have been in a conversation with someone at some point in your life, and you're talking to them, and they're kind of looking at you and they're looking at your eyes, but you can kind of tell they're not really there. Like they're, you feel they just, it feels like they're somewhere else and thinking about other things. And maybe you've done that yourself as well. Someone's talking to you, and you're there and you're trying to listen, but your mind keeps wandering off to what you're going to have for dinner, or just you're trying to think of something to say when that person's finished talking rather than actually listening to what they're saying. And the whole idea of like the meditation that I was doing was to be, because your mind is always going to get distracted and wander off, but it's about noticing when that happens and then bring your attention back to the present moment. And that's really helped in like communication, like conversations. Like I feel like I'm a lot more present, and when I am talking to someone, I'm actually listening and engaging, and they can really tell that. And it just helps with connection with people and talking to people. So that's number two. And number three is an interesting one. I've learned that it takes a lot longer than you think for things to have any effect. And I sort of already knew that, but it was a good reminder. And what I mean by that is, when, especially like with meditation, you'll do it for 1, 2, 3, even 3 weeks or a month even, and you won't feel like anything's changed, and you're sort of doing it every day, and you're sort of going through the motions and trying to do it, but you don't feel any different. And it's not until like I found myself personally after like a month, that's when I actually started to notice some difference, and it was really just really slight as well, so slight differences. And it's the kind of thing where you feel like you're not making any progress, and that's when most people give up. But if you just sort of keep going, you just keep doing it every day, and then eventually there's that point where you feel like it finally like clicks and you kind of get it, and then you look back to where you started and you realize you've come a long way. But just because it is like so incremental and slight every single day, you don't notice it in a big way at the start. So good lesson for life in general, really. Like it's the same as if you're like going to the gym. Like there's never that one session where you come home and suddenly you're ripped. It's all the slight changes every single day that add up over time. Just a good reminder there. And so that's three things I learned from meditating every day for a year. I used an app called Headspace. It basically takes you through guided meditations, and you can choose the length, and I just did like 10 minutes every day. And that's enough. And yeah, I got a lot of benefit from it, so might be worth looking into for yourself if you're interested. All right, thanks for your time. I'll speak to you soon.